Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks seminerlerine hoş geldiniz. Bugün Kanada'nın en iyi devlet üniversitelerinden Royal Rhodes Üniversitesi'nden Brooke bizlerle olacak. Lütfen sorularınızı sağ alt köşede Questions bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Brooke, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. My name is Brooke, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about Royal Rhodes University. As was mentioned, there are places to add questions should you have them, and I will address those questions at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. One second. And then here we go. Okay. So yeah, welcome to Royal Rhodes University. I would like to acknowledge that Royal Rhodes University, we live and learn and work on the traditional lands of the Esquimalt and the Songhees peoples. Today, we are just going to explore the institutional experience. We'll have a quick program overview. We'll talk about the application process and requirements, and then any conversations and questions that you may want to have, I'm really happy to address them. So first of all, Royal Rhodes is located in Victoria. Victoria is on Vancouver Island in British Columbia in Canada, which is the far west coast of the country. Canada is pretty small, even though we're the second largest country in the world. We have about 37 million people. And Vancouver Island as a whole, where Victoria is located, has about 750,000. For those of you who may have been to the Netherlands before, Vancouver Island is actually landmass, a similar size. But of course, they have millions of people, and we don't even have 1 million. We are actually quite close to Vancouver and also Seattle in the United States. And the way you would reach those cities is by ferry or by plane. A commercial plane, it's only about 15 minutes, 1-5. So it is very, very close to get to Vancouver. And the most common way people travel between is by a ferry, and it takes an hour and a half on the ferry. And it's very common to do that on the weekend. The top 3 industries here are advanced technology, tourism, as well as education. We have one of the mildest climates in Canada. Sometimes when people think of Canada, they think of a country covered in snow. Maybe it snows once or twice a year in Victoria and only lasts a very short amount of time. So we are very mild. And in the summer, we don't get overly hot. So the average is 25 degrees, and that means it's quite comfortable to live here. You can drive to the snow in the winter, maybe 1 hour and a half away. It will be consistently snowy. We also have a ski hill here where you can go skiing and snowboarding. And in the summer, you can also drive to the heat. You know, if you're looking for 32 or 33 degree weather, again, just drive 1 or 2 hours and you'll find it. There's lots of outdoor activities here. You can go surfing, which lots of people don't realize. You do need to wear a wetsuit though. Hiking, kayaking, all sorts of fun stuff. And we're a very friendly place to live. So here's kind of a map to give you a visual idea. So where that Canada flag is, that's Victoria. You can see Vancouver, and then on the bigger map, you can also see where Seattle is. So it's quite close. And then all those little dots and stuff, those are little islands, and it's very common to visit those islands on the weekend. They have their own little communities as well. So who is Royal Rhodes? We're a public university, and we offer a personal approach to learning, teaching, and research. We're all about applicable skills to help you succeed in your career. Fostering a sustainable future for our planet is very, very important to us. And we really believe in applying a change-making approach as leaders and innovators. We are an Ashoka U Changemaker campus. We really believe in this experiential learning, taking that theory and the academics that you're learning and applying them to the real world. Most of our instructors are not only academically qualified, but they have experience in the industry, which is incredible for them to explain and give you great examples. And we actually are quite a small institution, and so the class sizes are small, and the average class size is 35. So you will know your professor, and your professor will know you. So yeah, we have almost 5,000 students, and 70% of our programs are actually offered at the graduate level, which is quite unique. So we specialize in certain areas of studies, and I have them listed here. So business leadership, communication, education, environment, executive education, humanitarian studies, tourism, interdisciplinary studies, and general studies. And we offer programs at all levels of study. And something that, again, makes Royal Rhodes a bit unique is that we offer programs that are delivered fully on campus, fully online, or in a blended format, which means most of the program is online, but you would come to the university for 2 weeks to take an intense residency. And that's something Royal Rhodes has been doing basically since it began. So we have not changed because of COVID and started offering online courses. We always have, and around 70% of our programs are offered in a blended online model. Today, I'll only really focus on programs that are offered on campus, as most of you are seeking those type of programs. The subject areas that are bolded are the ones that we have on campus programs. So business, leadership, communication and culture, environment and sustainability, and tourism and hospitality. So who are Royal Rhodes students? I remember, and still today, when you are looking for a university, there are just so many choices out there. And what I think is great is that means there's probably a great choice that suits you, because all the institutions are different. So the type of student that does very well at Royal Rhodes is somebody that is curious and passionate and really does want to positively impact the world around them. They're seeking a program that has applicable skills, and they're also looking to learn about leadership and collaboration and critical thinking. They want a learning experience that will help them succeed in an environment that constantly changes. And overall, they're looking for something different. So there are different points that you could start your education journey at Royal Rhodes. So the first one is completing your entire undergraduate degree with us. The second one is for those who have already completed 2 years of your undergraduate degree, or maybe you have a 2-year diploma, and then you wanted to finish your undergraduate degree with us. We have some really great options. And finally, master's degrees. The structure of an undergraduate degree is 3 to 4 years. So it depends with the program. It depends on the program that you'll be studying. If you're doing a full undergraduate degree with us, the first year is kind of like a pathway year, and it includes some English preparation as well as academic programs. In your second year, you will focus on the program that you're studying. And finally, we have the third and the fourth year. It is possible for you to transfer from your current institution, or maybe you finished a diploma a few years ago, and to start directly in the third year. And we have options where you could finish your degree in 2 years. And in some cases, you could finish it in 1 year, which is an extremely intense, accelerated program. And we also have on-campus and blended options for this. For those who are taking the full program, the first year is called International First Year. It is a foundational year. We have 3 programs. So we have a Bachelor of Business Administration in Innovation and Sustainability. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Global Tourism and Management, and we have a Bachelor of Arts in International Hotel Management. So in this first year, you're going to learn about being a global citizen and look at things from different perspectives. And it's kind of really an exciting year that gives you the foundation to be successful in your future undergraduate years. I can say, I don't know how many of you are looking for an undergrad program, but it's quite a shock to the system and it's quite different from moving from high school. So I think having a first year that really helps you settle into basically an adult way of learning can be very helpful. So for undergraduate degree completion, those of you who may have already finished 2 years of post-secondary education, we have 3 programs that can be finished in 2 years. As you can see, we have 3 programs that can be finished in a year. And so there's Bachelor of Arts in Communication, Justice Studies, Environmental Science, so lots of different options. For those of you interested in a master's program, the general structure has been about 18 months, and it usually consists of 12 months plus a 6-month completion option, which could be a project, an internship, as well as the thesis. These are the list of our graduate programs. The ones that are bolded are the programs that we offer on campus. So we have a Master of Arts in Environment and Management. We have a Master of Arts in Global Leadership. We have a Master of Arts in Intercultural and International Communication, and a Master of Arts in Tourism Management, and an MBA in Executive Management. I will add about tourism. I was listening to the radio this morning, and we have several areas in British Columbia that fully rely on tourism. One of them is Whistler, another one is Banff. In the winter, it's all about skiing and snowboarding, and in the summer, it's about kind of hiking and outdoor adventures. They're actually desperate for people to work there. So the tourism industry is quite thriving right now. So I think it's a great opportunity to take a program and, potentially improve your skills by working afterwards in an incredible tourism destination. For those of you that don't meet our English language requirements, or for those of you that just want to take a semester of English, we do have some short-term English programs that you can take. So we have English for academic purposes, and you can take this as part-time or full-time, all the way from about an intermediate level up to advanced. Perhaps you're, thinking about getting a job that needs higher English skills, or thinking about applying to a program that needs higher English skills. This is a great way to do that. We also have a really fun program that's about business leadership for the intermediate learner as well, and you can take that for a semester. This is how the pathways would work. So we can help you improve your English if you're at about 4.5 IELTS, and then pathway straight into your academic program. We also work with English language schools in Canada, and depending on the school, it's possible to take the English preparation program there and then transfer into Royal Rhodes. As I was mentioning before, there are work opportunities if you are in our academic programs, and these could be an off-campus work permit allowing you to work up to 20 hours a week off campus and full-time during scheduled breaks. On campus, which you can work as much as you want. And then once you graduate, you would qualify to apply for a post-graduation work permit. Again, the length depends on the program, but most of our students are receiving 3-year post-grad work permits. And all of this provides, pathway to immigration, should that be something you're interested in one day. The cost of our programs. So our undergrad programs are about $23,000 Canadian per year, and our graduate programs are about $34,000 for the program. We do have scholarships, and they range from $500 to $10,000. We have entrance scholarships that you can apply for once you have accepted your offer into the program and before you start, and you can apply for those one time. And then we also have in-course awards that you can apply for. I believe they're offered 4 times per year. So as long as you're an active student that's studying, you can apply each time. And on average, 25% of our students get around $1,500. For accommodations, most students will start their journey in a homestay, and that price ranges from $800 to $1,000, depending if you want food or not food. Lots of people will end up renting and finding an apartment, and a 1-bedroom apartment ranges from $800, I would actually say up to $2,000 a month, depending how fancy of a place that you want and what kind of location you want. Victoria has lots of really interesting places to live, and because we are, we're right on the water, we're on an island, there's lots of, waterfront accommodation, and that's where things get more expensive. But there are different options, often to suggest to students to perhaps stay in an Airbnb or a VRBO in the beginning, so they can get a handle on what area they want to live in. For applying to an academic program, you would submit your application online. When you submit your application, you'll have to answer questions about your previous academic experience, previous work experience, and then you would submit the online application. After you submit the application, you would submit supporting documents to our international admissions team via email. When all documents have been received, then they will be adjudicated and looked at. It's important to follow our website. We have a lot of details on how we want the documents to look, or if there's a statement of intent required, what should be answered in that statement of intent. And all around, the processing will go much faster if you follow that process. And then after that, hopefully you'd be given an offer, and then you would need to accept your offer and pay a tuition deposit. And then you would get a letter of acceptance, which you would use to apply for your visa. So our undergraduate requirements for a 4-year degree, you would need to graduate from high school, and you would need a B average in 4 academic grade 12 courses. We do have prerequisites. So for the BBA program, you would need Math 12, and for the tourism and hospitality, Math 12 or economics. And when we're calculating your B average, we would take your highest 4 academic subjects. So if Math 12 wasn't your strongest, but you passed, we wouldn't necessarily include that in the B average. And if you're applying to complete your degree, so for the 3rd and 4th year, you would need to complete a 2-year diploma or 60 credits of post-secondary with 24 second-year credits, and you would need a B average. There are prerequisites, and they would vary by program, something like a first-year math class or a first-year accounting course. For our graduate programs, you would need to complete a 4-year or comparable undergraduate degree, usually in a related field, and you would need a B average in the last 2 years of your program. And that's important to look at. I think sometimes people start their undergraduate program in the first 2 years, you're having a lot of fun, and maybe your grades aren't the best, but usually in your last 2 years, your grades are a lot better. The work experience, for most of our programs, we do require work experience at the master's level. And it ranges just from some volunteer experience all the way up to 7 to 10 years work experience. So it really depends on the program. For English requirements, so for an undergraduate degree, you would need equivalent to an IELTS 6.0. And then for all of our other programs, you would need an IELTS 6.5, that should say, with 6.5 in writing and speaking and 6.0 in listening and reading. And then again, we do have English programs, and we can accept students with as low as 4.5, but not lower than that. We do have something called flexible admissions. Perhaps you did not get a B average in your undergraduate degree, but you have a number of years of work experience, like 5 years or 10 years. It depends on the program. We may be able to consider your application under flexible admission. So it's always great you could always shoot me an email to see if you would be a candidate for that. And that's a really fast overview of Royal Rhodes. I will add this picture is a castle on our campus. And you may recognize the castle. It's in some of the X-Men movies and it's in Deadpool. So we actually have different types of movie or TV things being filmed frequently enough. So it's kind of a fun place, and the campus as a whole is quite beautiful. So I'm going to stop sharing and see if we have, I'm going to start with the questions. The fee from Mustafa. The fees you show are Canadian or international? International students. So 100%, I'm just showing the fees for international students. From Sema, is it possible to apply without an IELTS or a TOEFL exam? Not supposed to be, but sometimes we can make an exception. We do have our English language programs. So you could potentially take an online test with them. And depending on the results of that test, if that test showed you met or have a high level of English, we would still require you to take an official test. And if it showed that you needed some English upgrading, you would have the choice of doing that English upgrading with us or of taking an official IELTS or TOEFL. So I will leave my email address. Seema, you can shoot me an email. What are the English language requirements? I think I mentioned those. What's the next question? What is it like to be a student in Royal Rhodes? That is an awesome question. So Royal Rhodes is quite a beautiful and romantic campus. And I say that because I think it affects your experience as a student. So when you enter the campus, it's situated inside a forest with trees and pathways, and it's at the top of a hill. And you enter and you can see the ocean in the distance and buildings from different eras. That castle that I showed you, Royal Rhodes used to be a military college, so there are still buildings from the military time. And then there are more modern buildings that Royal Rhodes has built specifically for its own use. The class sizes are smaller, so you know your students, you know your professors, you know student services. So the experience is after you've been there for a few months, knowing the people, walking around and being like, hi, Brooke, how's it going? Hey, we're not like a university that has 25 or 30,000 students on campus. Perhaps we have 1,000 or 1,500. So it's a very intimate experience. And because of that, our students get quite involved and they're able to get quite involved. So it is, yeah, it's a very personal way to learn. I do not think it's for everybody, but I think for certain people, it's perfect. It's exactly how people want to learn and they want that extra attention. So that's kind of the experience in a nutshell. On Friday, we have something called our International Showcase, and our international students are going to be putting on all these different amazing cultural performances. And so I think, it's a real special place. That's a really great question. How long is the admissions process? Depending on the program, level of program, it depends. For a graduate program, right now it's taking anywhere between 4 to 6 months to process an application. So it's really important that when you submit your application, all the documents are exactly as requested online. For a first-year undergraduate, it can be a week. And for a degree completion, so transferring your program, maybe 1 or 2 months. Could you please let us know the tuition fees? So Ada, I did mention them. I'm not sure if you saw them at that point. So on average, per year, undergraduate would be about 23,000 Canadian dollars. And for graduate master's programs, it would be about 34,000 Canadian dollars for the full program. And that could be an 18-month program. That could be a 2-year program. They're all about the same price. Omer, is there a doctoral program in gastronomy or tourism? We have a doctorate of business administration as well as social sciences, definitely not gastronomy. There could be a way for you to, because we are a very interdisciplinary institution, work in aspects of tourism at that level. Again, I'll leave my email address. That's probably a good question to talk a little bit more in detail about. Maybe we can connect you with one of our enrollment advisors. Okay, those are the questions. How about the chat? Everyone. Hi, 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 hi. Everyone says hi, hi, hi. Wonderful. Okay. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions. I don't know when you're thinking of applying. I do know it's, leave time for your application. Still because of COVID, there's a bit of a backlog for visas with Canada Immigration. And also we have Canada Immigration has also processing many applications from Ukraine and also from Afghanistan. So while they're trying to mitigate that situation, make sure you leave time. You don't want something like that to be rushed. And yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions. One new question. Oh yeah, they're all at the top. I started from the bottom. I lost my, okay, here we go. Do you have a Toronto campus? No, I don't have a Toronto campus. Very different experience, Toronto and Victoria. Yeah, I should add Victoria, I don't know if I mentioned, is the capital city of British Columbia. There's a plane that goes from Victoria to Toronto. It takes about 4.5 hours by plane. Do not underestimate how large Canada is. We have 4 different time zones in our country. Quite big. Turkey's big too, though. I have been to Turkey. It's a wonderful country. Anything else?
Hi, Brooke. We have another question in the chat box. Could you also please answer that?
The one about living. Okay. And Sema just sent a question. I will do both. Living expenses. Good question. Like I mentioned, a 1-bedroom apartment could be $800, which is probably your sharing, all the way up to 2,000 Canadian dollars. I think sometimes for living expenses, it's good to compare things that would be, similar goods in each of our countries. So if you want to go to the movie theater, it's 12 Canadian dollars. If you want to buy a Starbucks coffee, it's like 4 Canadian dollars. Breakfast, if you eat out, is 8 to 10 Canadian dollars. Lunch is maybe now 20. Prices have gone up with inflation, as I'm sure they have in Turkey as well. Gas is very expensive right now. The most expensive in our history. It is $2.30 a liter. For a bus pass in Victoria, it is, I believe, 80 Canadian dollars. And so you can kind of go anywhere that the bus goes in Greater Victoria on that. And to compare, a bus pass that goes anywhere in Greater Vancouver, I think is 200. Well, I don't even know if they have bus passes anymore, but it's probably double the price. So I hope that helps a bit. To get to the taxi from the airport, if you're going to downtown, it's about $60 Canadian dollars. Toronto and Vancouver are more expensive than Victoria, but Victoria probably falls after Toronto and Vancouver. I hope that helps. Okay, question in the chat, and then I'll answer. What about engineering programs in Canada? Great question. Royal Rhodes does not do engineering. We don't do architecture. We don't do psychology. As I mentioned, we kind of specialize in business and leadership and communication and tourism. There are plenty of engineering programs in Canada. I don't know anything about them or what's, the difference between the different programs. I can say, all Canadian institutions are good and we have to adhere to a certain quality. So, I would, do some research on those. I know a lot of people, I've been to Turkey a few times and I felt that every second person I met in Turkey was an engineer. And I never knew there were so many different types of engineering, which was incredible. Does your university have summer programs for international high school students? Yes and no. This year we won't, but next year we hope to, and most likely for older high school students, so 17, maybe, just finished grade 11, something like this, but hopefully next year. Yeah, more questions about engineering. Sorry, no engineering. Business, tourism. Yeah. Is there anything else? Anything at all? I do encourage everyone to look up different institutions that you're considering, look up the locations that they're in, look up like Victoria on Instagram and to give you an idea what things look like and what people are doing for fun and what kind of restaurants there are. And also if you're thinking about jobs, it's, very easy to see what jobs are being offered. You can look up on like Indeed or something like that and get an idea what kind of jobs are out there, what kind of positions are there. Sometimes they post the salaries, sometimes they don't. I think it's good if you want to get an idea about what things will cost. That's kind of the internet is the tool that allows you to do that. You can gain a lot of information. And I'm sure there's also stuff, because I know this is almost every country that people have, Turkish people who have been to Canada as students before probably have blogs and different types of sites that you can go to see specifically the Turkish outlook on what's happening in Canada. I'm sure it's different from my own. Oh, is there another chat question? Does your university? No, I already answered that. Oh, great. Okay. Ask now, or I will put in the chat my email address in case you have another question. Feel free to email me anytime, particularly the person who had the question about the doctorate program. And there was another one I can't quite remember, but please, if you have questions about flexible admissions or something, get in contact with me. And I'd be happy to answer your questions. And I hope you're having a lovely evening. I miss being in Turkey. I haven't been there in many years. And so I hope to be back again soon and eat your delicious food.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Brooke. We also would like to see you in Turkey. Maybe we can cut our pairs.
Yeah, totally.
And once again, thank you for your presentation. It was very informative for the attendees. And you covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers too. Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Royal Rhodes Üniversite ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden grupla iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, Brooke. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.